And that's pretty much it. Let's just go talk to him right now. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. I love your jersey.
They're playing. I may or may not be sneaking looks at them during this game. But
What?
right.
Whose jersey is that? Who's number 4? Is that Watson?
Watson. Yeah. It's got the name on it. It's probably backwards thanks to webcam, but
That's my guy. I have a quick question about football first. I'm a Bills fan. You're a Texans fan.
Yep.
Jadeveon Clowney just got traded or left?
Yeah.
Was that something that was like the team is falling apart now, or we can handle it?
It was we didn't want to pay him, basically. Essentially we didn't want to pay Clowney what he thinks he's worth because he is a run stopper, not a pass rusher, and he wants to be paid like a top pass rusher.
Oh, okay.
That sucked. More than a third round pick for him. Touchdown, by the way. We should have gotten more than a third round pick for him. But we don't have a GM at the moment because our GM was shit. So can I curse on this? I can curse.
Yeah,
on this, right?
well, you want.
All right. Our GM was shit, so we fired him for it. And since we didn't have a GM, we just totally bungled the trade. But
Oh, that's right. You guys are like one of the 2 teams without a GM, right? The other one is, I think, the
The other is
Patriots.
the Patriots.
Yeah, goddamn
Yeah.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that he didn't want to go to the Dolphins, which is probably a good call considering how that team looked.
Yeah, there's players calling to get out of Miami now because of that game went so poorly. They're all calling their agents like, "Get me the fuck out of here. This is awful."
Yeah, and if everyone thought last night was bad with Brady and the Steelers, wait till this week when Brady plays the Dolphins.
Yeah,
It's going to be
that'll
600 to 1.
Yeah, if he even has to play. I don't even know if they have to play. You haven't tweeted about this show being on, so I'm gonna do that for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm terrible at that shit. Thank you. It's
Kind of LDR.
the interesting thing about that is that Belichick rarely ever sits starters, like even if they're up by 50 points.
That's true.
So Brady may just keep playing. And my hope is maybe that like
they destroyed the Steelers, so
yeah. And hopefully Antonio Brown and Julian Edelman get in some kind of trouble this week and aren't able to play for the rest of the season. That's my hope. Yeah. Otherwise, it will continue to be a bloodbath in the AFC East, as it has been for like 10 years.
I have nothing against Edelman, but Antonio Brown, after the bullshit he pulled, he can sit out the season. I wouldn't be too upset by that one.
Right.
Him and Tyreek Hill.
He got hurt pretty bad, didn't he?
Wasn't too bad out of shape at that one either.
Right.
Enough.
What? Why Tyreek Hill? Did he leave the Texans or something, or just don't like him?
No, he punched his pregnant girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
And then possibly beat up his kid this summer, but it was not convicted for it, or maybe it was his girlfriend. Yeah, no, he's a piece of shit.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that. Not wow that he's a piece of shit. I agree.
Yeah. I forget that not everybody lives sports as much as I do. My wife and I go to dinner and we like pull up the sports subreddits and just have conversations based on the headlines from the sports subreddits. So,
oh my God, the NFL subreddit for like the last 3 days, like thank God football's on now, but for like a 3-day span, it was every single post was Antonio Brown, like something new.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that. It's the craziest thing that's happened in quite a while.
I couldn't believe that video when I saw it of him like whatever the hell his team made. I don't even know what that was. It almost looked like a documentary, and then Gruden's voice was in it. It was crazy.
And it looked like a music video crew, something they would put together for like an Instagram page. But yeah.
Well, they say he did consult with social media people, right? So maybe they actually. He should be a content creator. Those skills.
Boom. Hosted now. All right.
Hey, look at you.
Hey.
Being a professional. I like your mic, by the way. What mic is that?
You. It's very nice. A Rode Procaster.
Hey, all right.
I can't see what you're using from here.
I have a Shure SM7B. It's just down like this.
Okay, yeah, it's the other one. I cross-shopped them. I thought that this sounded better for my voice and like for male voices in general, I think, anyway.
It does sound good. A+ choice.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
So this whole season of the show, we're talking... So a little history. The show has been on for like 6 seasons, this chat show with guests and stuff, and it's always been like evolved over time. So we started off, it was just like me and a couple of close friends, and then the next season it was me and some people from Twitch Kittens, like spotlight streamers, And then
Yeah.
after that, it was, I don't even remember, like hybrid, some partners and stuff. And then after that, it was review. Anyways, it's been a long evolution to get here. And what we're doing this
Yeah.
season is like deeper conversations about, not just, hey, how do you get more viewers? Crap like that. No one gives a shit about that. You can read
Yeah.
about that on YouTube. Um,
Also, no one knows. It's
right.
magic.
Yeah.
All black magic. You just
Hey,
gotta.
steal tweets like I did. You'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it works. I don't know the long-term consequences of it, but it works.
Exactly. Which is, and why, of course, I came to you to chat first is because you have this. We have very good conversations on social media to begin with, and like all
Yeah.
of our posts. Um,
Yeah.
but also, you are very good at social media. Is that the right way to describe it? And
Good's a word for it. Yeah, sure. We can use it. Good. I don't know. Lucky, maybe, perhaps. Um,
so
no life it a little bit.
that
Yeah, a little bit of all those things.
So I have like a trillion questions for you, but mostly it's just a discussion type thing. What I wanted to start at was like today you made a post about I think videos and how it's like there's a 2 minute maximum or something like that, and getting people to put on headphones, which is it's so funny. I think that was your last part of that post was it's weird to get people to put on headphones to watch a video,
Yeah.
and just that small part. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even think about that. That's very true. Like,
Yeah, I've brought that up in a couple interviews and stuff before, but the trick is you have to build an audience and make a connection first before you can convince people to give a shit about what you're putting out. So how many videos do you scroll past every day on Twitter that's like, oh hey, this person's talking, I'm gonna look at this a little bit, okay, I'm just gonna keep moving on. And to do that, it's a really like catch-22 situation because no one cares until you've already given them a reason to care. And so you have to find like smaller ways to build up their trust essentially, right? Because if I'm going to find where I put my headphones and take 2 minutes out of my day to listen to you, I'm trusting that this is going to be good content, which
right.
unfortunately means if the first videos you put out suck, then you're in trouble. Yeah, and just also it's start small was my only advice for getting around that is start with 10-second clips and 20-second clips, and
Huh.
then you can kind of slowly build
Yeah,
out
that
from there.
that makes sense. So, how do you like, is there some sort of weird split where do I spend time making a video on Twitter versus spend time making a video, and you've brought it up before about TikTok and that's like a big thing now, or do you do like YouTube? And I've sort of looked at each of those channels for you, but I'm just wondering like
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want the conceptual or do you want what I actually do? Because I should be doing more YouTube videos. Whenever I made my schedule out for the week, I
yeah.
did it very optimistically and set out time to make specific YouTube videos. But it's this weird give and take because I know if I make a 2-minute video for Twitter, it's going to get a lot more views than my YouTube videos, which cap out at like 100 something or things in that nature. So it's
Huh.
weird give and take on what platform I want to put things on. And I don't want to be putting the same content out everywhere. That's one of the big mistakes I think people make on Twitter is they use it mostly as their stream post platform, and you're familiar with the concepts of that. But they'll
Yeah.
post a lot of their clips and highlights and stream links and stuff to Twitter, and stream clips don't really play on Twitter very well at all
Yeah.
unless you cut them down to like 10-second bits maybe. And that same concept applies for trying to put a 2-minute video on YouTube. Like I don't have anything that's super long form content other than a cut down stream. And I don't see the point of putting cut down streams on YouTube whenever Twitch will save all your stuff anyway, and your audience is already there, so you don't have to worry about jumping through hoops to get the conversion from Twitch or Twitter over to YouTube because each of those hoops is just significantly more difficult to get people to go through and to click on to check out your stuff.
Right. So I guess like you'd think kind of not maybe from a conceptual level, it's like, well, if I put more content out on more platforms, more people will see it. But at the same time, there's not enough hours in the day to make unique content for each platform, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
And each platform kind of requires its own type of networking too, right? So the more platforms you spread yourself to, the more time you have to spend maintaining them, more time spent watering those gardens, basically. It's why my Instagram isn't so great. It's because I'm not spending time as much time there interacting with others and like commenting on
yeah,
other people's posts and curating content just for that. I'm just lazily copying and pasting over stuff I've done from Twitter, and that's bad. So I'm trying to get into more Instagram stories, which is like lower bar of content than what I do on Twitter. It's just very
okay,
casual conversation. So
yeah,
if something doesn't make the cut for Twitter, I can put it in a story, and it's a lot less it feels a lot less important, right?
Right.
And also IGTV is a pretty good resource. So actually, speaking of YouTube, if someone is looking at it right now, thinking to go into YouTube, go into Instagram TV instead. Algorithms, for the most part, people who talk about them, they're a crock of shit. Like most people don't understand what they're talking about. But the Instagram algorithm does rate IGTV videos higher because they like to push their latest feature up. So every time Instagram releases a new
Huh.
feature, if you use that, you get a little small score bump on your little post score for what you're doing. So
Yeah, who was posted about that? Was it you or maybe Violet or somebody was like, yeah, it's actually better if you mix your content on Instagram, like you have a post and then a story and then a video or an IGTV or something like that. It would be a way to rank up in whatever point system, or theoretically, I guess no one really has the answer, I guess, but
I have no idea. Right? Everybody puts out this content. It's like, hey, here's how you take advantage of the algorithm. And that article is outdated in a week because the entire reason that the algorithm exists is to stop people from doing exactly that. Like there's a whole team of people whose job it is to make it to where you can't take advantage of it just by putting a few hashtags and posting at a certain time and things like that.
right.
And it's just like core
The
misunderstanding of why the algorithm exists, and then your content is outdated immediately, which is why you see all the that's not why SEO is why, but it's partially why you see the month and the year on every YouTube video talking about Instagram strategies. And I'm not immune to that myself because
Oh, that's a
SEO is
good point. I guess I never noticed that. I know that a lot of, especially streamers, but I think probably a lot of people like influencers and all that stuff that are trying to do Instagram stuff. That's like a big one of their first questions is how the hell do I make my content for Instagram? It's impossible. They're not seeing
yeah,
like the same likes or comments that they get on Twitter, which Twitter might be easier to comment on, I guess, or
for
like
me.
easier to support
Yeah.
because you can instant retweet, right? How do you? I guess you could like an Instagram post. You can't really retweet a Instagram
Yeah, but
post.
exactly. But your Instagram post likes don't show up on other people's stuff, so you have to. The
Huh.
only
Yeah.
discovery through Instagram is through hashtags, and even those, the system changes for those a lot. Like somewhat recently, they added in this skin filter, right? It's to cut down pictures from showing too much skin from showing up in the hashtags. So if you've noticed in the last since March, if you're on Instagram, the fitness influencers and like bikini posters, things like that. Anybody who'd be a fitness model or anything like that, if they try to post in a hashtag, it just won't show up. So
Huh.
if Instagram determines that you've got too much skin showing, it shadow blocks it from that hashtag and it won't show up there. So that's just one of the little ways that those things change up all the time.
Oh, it's like mixer rules. You can't have your shoulders showing or whatever. Um,
Yeah, it won't show up in the directory if you do. If you've already got the audience, then it's fine. Like if you're
yeah,
already getting thousands of likes per post, who cares? But
right.
yeah,
So,
I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Go on.
why is it like? And maybe you can help me understand this. Like the hashtag thing is, is the main discoverability tool on Instagram. Is that why people
Mm.
will post something and then write a little text about it, but then reply to their own picture with like 50 hashtags? Is that the way to do it outside of the post?
Yeah, it's the current meta basically. You can either do the 50 hashtags or you put a bunch of dots under it and then paste all the hashtags under that. Um,
Oh, okay.
Anecdotally, I think the number of hashtags that you're allowed to use for a post kind of changed. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I don't know. They change all those rules all the time. Last time my advice was load up 30 hashtags on each post, but I'm pretty sure that's outdated. But
They're
yeah,
onto
as
us.
Gravity brings what's up?
I said they're onto us. No more 30
Yeah, right.
hashtags.
But yeah, the meta is to put in the top comment just because it looks slightly cleaner. I don't think there's a functional difference for it. And in fact, it can hurt you if you're using popular hashtags if you wait too long to post that. So if you're going to use the paste all your tags in the top comment strategy, have them copied into your like clipboard ready to go as soon as you post it. Because if you're posting in something like model search or Instagood or whatever the super fucking popular tags are,
Yeah.
it'll slide right through even in a minute or two. So
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because there's like 6 trillion people probably posting the same stuff, the same tags, right? So,
yeah,
huh. Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay. I guess I got to take notes on this shit. I don't know how to work Instagram. My Instagram is literally, here's my kids. That's what my
Hey,
Instagram is.
that's something. That's probably not what most people are looking for on Instagram, but you never know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't
Uh,
expect anything.
so let me go back to Twitter for a second.
Go ahead.
Because I don't know what the hell I'm doing on it. So Twitter, like analytics.twitter.com is I think run by Twitter to look at statistics. Is
Yes.
Do you look at that stuff? Is that something that's important to you to see what's engaging your audience and all that?
I used to look at it a lot more than I do now. At this point, I kind of just have a good internal, like I built up that muscle, right? So now I tend to remember more what types of content are doing well.
Oh, okay.
And I've actually gotten pretty bad about reacting to trends as opposed to just doing whatever the hell I want, which is something I'm actually talk a lot about not doing whatever the hell you want. So it's something I need to work on. But yeah, I do check out the analytics tab. Mostly it's used for pitches and things like that. And I can't say there've been like a ton of successful brand pitches or anything. So
Oh,
none of
oh yeah, of course. Like going to talk to commercial businesses, you got to prove, right? Like they're not just gonna go, "Oh, yeah, sure, you're good because you say so." Like they want to see
exactly,
some
yeah.
numbers to back it up.
And it's not even necessarily like impressions, right? You can say, "Oh, I get 5 million impressions for something," but that doesn't really mean shit. What means
Right.
click throughs and conversions and stuff. So what's actually been a pretty good metric for me, and has at least started a few conversations, was that Twitch shirt that I posted with the tweet from Twitch that says "Hold us
Oh,
accountable."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Twitter will track the number of click throughs on that, and then Teespring tracks the number of sales. So like that's real useful data that I can use to pitch companies on. Hey, see, I can actually sell a T-shirt, as opposed to just get people to click on a tweet. And those are two very different things to companies.
Right. And that's I've coached, I mean, I hate that fucking word. I've
I do too. It's the shorthand for it, right? I hate the word influencer too, but I
yeah.
use it all the time.
And growth. Oh god, I can't even do it anymore. I've been on this platform too
Growth is
goddamn
sort of
long
not
talking about growth.
taken care of, right? But
um the oh shit, what was I gonna say? Um growth.
yep, laser treatment.
Uh,
hmm It's
oh
a word people. Oh, go on.
nope, I don't have it.
It's a growth word people put in SEO tags and stuff all the time. So that's why you see growth in every video, because that's what everybody looks for.
Well, it's the same
Dumb.
thing as in my business with the like the buzzword garbage. We're gonna increase interoperability, and it's like Jesus Christ, what does that even mean? Look at this
I thought you meant
innovation.
the
Oh my
literal
god.
buzzword garbage. I thought you were working in like the trash influencer industry. Like, hey, yeah, the word garbage is trending now, but tomorrow we're gonna call it trash again. We're gonna revolutionize the whole industry.
Yes.
Um,
So when you were talking about sort of how you say a lot, you should post stuff sort of your own take on stuff instead of with trends. Uh, I don't know, like yes, but let's say today, I don't know, something might have happened this weekend. People are talking about Amaranth. I don't know,
oh
um,
yeah, yeah, that whole thing.
but
Yeah.
that's a big trend right now. So everyone should jump on board and start chatting about their thoughts on Amaranth because that's how
Hey,
streamer Twitter kind of goes, right? Like,
not now. Now it's too late.
yeah,
You
that's
gotta
right.
get up there in the first hour or two
It had to be
if you
10 a.m.
really
or
want
you're
to make.
lost.
There's definitely times where something trendy happens and I'll post 3 or 4 tweets and then like I'll post one, doesn't get much interaction. I'll think of a better joke later, delete that, and then post another one really quick. And that sometimes looks really stupid. I don't get much feedback on deleting stuff other than the fact that I do it, but I guess
Yeah.
people tend to stick around anyway. But then when that one tweet takes off, it's worth it for that. So
Hmm.
trends can definitely be good to comment on as long as you have something interesting to say on it, which is shitty advice and not terribly useful because that advice just boils down to don't be boring. But
Right.
hey,
I
that's
I
all
l-
any of us.
I love that idea of you walking around your house like thinking of a better joke than what you just wrote. And like, damn it,
Mhm.
can I do it right now?
Yeah, how many people have seen this already?
Right.
It's
I could
the
get rid of
equivalent
it
of a
now and have
shower
the better
thought.
joke.
Yeah, shower thought, but sped up a little bit.
Yes. So on the topic of sort of, I mean, you could call it like pruning your timeline or whatever, or cleaning your stuff up, but deleting tweets. I posted something a long time ago, sort of as a joke, but like how deleting tweets is for little babies. But like, I see what you're saying about, it was mostly a joke, but I get the business side of it as well, right? Like if you want to keep like make your engagement higher, it makes sense to delete a bad joke and put in a good take or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
the part that always seemed like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The
No, go on.
the part that always seemed kind of a little bit why I was saying something, it was specifically to someone who had posted something and then deleted it. But it was deleted because someone didn't like their take on it, so they deleted it out of like shame or something. So,
Oh,
but that's sort of like it's not really true to who you are if you do that, right?
yeah, but
I'm not
yes.
talking about you, by the way. You're not the person.
No, no, no. This
Okay.
is fine. It's actually a pretty good point. Hold on. Deep pass. intercepted. Okay. Anyway, so there's a pretty good point to be made about who you are versus which is the most marketable version of you, right? So it's the same problem that you see like punk bands run into back in the day, or bands get big and are selling out, right? So like at some point you do kind of have to make sacrifices on who you are on some parts of your personality. Maybe
Sure.
maybe you don't have to, or just maybe some people have to deal with this, but you have to decide like, do I stick true with this opinion that's going to piss a lot of people off, or do I kind of say it but maybe in a way that'll piss less people off? That's usually the route I take. I'll
Yeah.
have an opinion on something, and here's a hack, by the way. If you want to say something that makes fun of other people, just say it making fun of yourself instead. And
Hey,
usually if you're taking a shot at yourself doing something, people are more likely to listen to it and latch on, and it doesn't come across quite as angry. So
that's a good
it's
tip.
fun.
Yeah, and I think it probably also depends a little bit on like what your goals are, maybe. Like if you're just here to like
Yeah.
dick around and make jokes, then whatever, post whatever you want, you know. But if you
Yeah.
maybe are thinking about like, hey, I might be able to make this, you know, I don't want to say I hate the career thing too, but if I want to do this more full time or make some money or reach out to things, then maybe you need to, you know, be a little bit of a baby and delete tweets, I guess.
Yeah. And yeah, usually I don't delete it because like I have a take that other people don't agree with. That's usually not the problem. It'll be something like I'll go and look at that later and say, if somebody comes across this tweet without context, it's going to sound really bad. Like if you get too far removed from a certain issue and later on they're scrolling down and see it, and
Right.
that it's gonna look out of place. So there's that. I also, part of it is an insecurity, right? I delete bad jokes and things that aren't performing well because
Yeah.
at least this is how I think Twitter works, is that if you tweet a bunch, it's only going to pick one of your tweets to show up on the timeline.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm making this up or if it's just a trend that I've noticed, but if you tweet like 3 times within an hour, whenever people log on later, they're only going to see the good one. They're probably not going to see all of them stacked up next to each other because the page
Oh,
is like,
yeah.
hey, I'm going to show you all this. And so I know that I only get like really one tweet an hour essentially to use that'll get seen by the most number of people. And whenever I make one that's bad, I feel like, oh well, I just wasted my one tweet this hour on something that's not actually that funny, or something only I found funny, which isn't growing the brand, as it were. Um,
Oh my
which hey,
god. If I had to delete the number of like weird inside joke references that no one gets except me, I my Twitter would be bare. uh
I mean, hey, it's you do you. I'm very weird about that, and I
yeah.
recognize that I'm weird about that. But as long as it keeps working, I'm probably gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, that's great.
And then
Uh
another aspect of it, I want to talk about this real quick,
sure,
is
yeah.
the pruning the timeline that you talked about.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to scroll back through my timeline and get like a best of for it. So if there's stuff that isn't very good, or stuff that's like follow-up tweets on something that again doesn't really work without the context or in the moment, I'll just go back and delete it to make things easier to scroll through.
Right. So
Yeah.
some one of the things I've seen you do before, and I see a lot of people do it, but it's like you post a tweet like a joke or something funny, and then like
Mhm.
you reply to that with like a second take or something like that, like maybe
Yeah.
a second joke or a follow up thing. That's, I'm presuming, like a better idea than posting a whole. This is sort of what you're saying. Like if you post a whole nother tweet, then maybe that follow up joke will have no reference to the first joke, and then it won't make any sense. So that's why you sort of reply to it.
Yeah, it's that the follow-up joke, well, the follow-up joke's posted because it's better than retweeting yourself to
Yeah.
some people. So it pops your tweet back up in the timeline, does the essentially the same thing. Anecdotally, I think retweeting yourself gets a few more eyeballs. I don't know if there's any truth to that. That's just a small trend that I've noticed that might be true. But it's our post that reply. The main goal is to get it to pop up on people's timelines again.
Sure.
And then if it does well enough and can stand alone as part of that joke, I keep it. But at a certain point, it just kind of gets in the way of scrolling back through the timeline. So I don't like people scrolling down and then seeing something that they have to go find the reference to, and things like that.
Yeah. The so it's funny that you mentioned the retweet thing. There's a couple of people that I know that maybe don't post as much as they used to and don't do as much as they used to, but would like constantly retweet everything that they wrote, maybe for like the last
Mhm.
week or something. To me, I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, why would you do this? And then, but their explanation at the time, because I remember asking about it, was, well, people in different time zones
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet. Is that like an actual thing, or you think that's just a cop out, or what do you think?
No, that's for sure. Everybody, not necessarily time zones as much as schedule, but yeah. So like different people have different times throughout the day that they check stuff. So
Sure.
if I'm retweeting something, this is a pretty typical schedule for me, right? I'll post something in the morning around 9 or 10 a.m. It's probably something that I wrote or made the day before. That'll go through the morning and do pretty well. I'll probably post a reply around lunch, around 1 p.m., noon, and then probably again around 5 or 6.
That makes sense,
Depending
right?
on how
Like
well it's doing.
lunchtime and then dinner time, people getting off work, something like that.
Yeah. It
Huh.
just gives it a couple hours and then it falls off, and that's usually been pretty effective. I could also be annoying the shit out of people when I do that, check it a lot. I've
I
never
love
really
it.
got feedback on that, but again, I guess as long as it's good. And that's why I like the follow-up tweet over the retweet because it technically adds a bit of new content on it as long as you do a decent job with it.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
just have
Actually, I know your timeline in particular. Sometimes it'll be like, do like the what do they call it? Like on Reddit, you read something, you don't really laugh, but you like breathe heavily or something because it's funny. But
yeah.
but so a lot of times I've seen your follow up tweets be like pretty hilarious in reference to the first tweet.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
The ones
Um,
you see are hilarious. The ones I delete probably aren't. Shrek.
what? How deep is your draft folder? Like a trillion?
It was 120 last time I counted months ago. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can actually like get it up. I tried to do this before and it doesn't pick up. So let's see if it'll see my screen. I can't tell if it's looking at my screen. There we go. You can see it.
I think
So it's
yeah, I
gone.
think I get the idea. Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's a
awesome.
lot.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
Maybe that's what I
a
should
lot.
do instead. It's what do they say when you get angry? You write like a letter to yourself or something. Like write what you're thinking down first.
Yeah. Some of those are tweets that I actually have posted. I just wrote out again. A lot of them, in fact, are jokes that I have posted. I just wrote out again. But most of that is joke concepts or things that I find to be funny ideas or things like that. I don't ever prune it, go back and delete all the bad stuff because it's a pain in the ass to prune.
Oh, okay.
To delete stuff in it, you have to like hold on, long press, and then delete, and then it scrolls back. So it's just a lot of work to get it cleaned up, which is
Yeah.
why I'm at like 130, and it just gets cleaned every time I get a new phone, basically.
I was gonna say, yeah, throw your phone away, get a new phone, we're starting over.
Pretty much, yeah. Because it's saved into the local storage, so when you get a new phone, you don't get all your old drafts.
Right.
Um, so it forces me to go start again. And usually, if I haven't posted something in months, it's probably not that good of a joke anyway. But yeah, it'll be like I write stuff down there whenever I'm at the grocery store, whenever I'm watching a TV show, whenever I'm
Yeah.
not in a position to where I can tweet it, or if I just tweeted and it doesn't make sense to tweet so quickly again. I still do sometimes, but I try not to do. Uh,
I haven't seen
yeah.
you do it, but I don't know if it's a thing. But it'd be very funny to post like scroll through, click a random one, post it, and then hashtag it as like draft, draft graveyard or whatever. That'd be really funny.
I have
No
not.
reference.
I had a couple that I didn't post, but because they were too explicit to post, they were like weirdly explicit.
Okay.
Or yeah, things like that. Or
That-
like I have a problem, as Travis knows, who's in chat here. I have a problem with using the word white people in tweets. I try not to use that, so I try to use a lot of any other like synonym or other word I could use. Um, yeah, so that's a weird example that we don't have to linger on for too
no,
much.
no, we're going into it. Just kidding.
All right.
So how has like your I'm not saying you are doing this, but if you are, like getting brands involved in your Twitter or your brand on social media, like how are you seeking those people out? Do you, because I think I saw something on Twitter where you sort of made reference to trying to work with somebody, or it's at one point, or you
Yeah, I
were
sent
working
them
with a
letters.
clothing company.
It didn't work, but I sent them letters. um, yeah, and Travis is right about that in chat, by the way. But I did use Anglo-Saxon once. Anyway, I got to stop reading chat and just talk to you. So the way it works, and I've talked to the people that tells me how it works, I just have not had any time to send out more pitches, is you have an idea that you pitch people with.
Yeah.
Because so many people send out DMs to everyone they know that's like, hey, let's work together. And if all you say is let's work together, that shit goes straight in the trash. Like
Right.
why would you're putting the onus to create an idea or create something interesting onto the other person? It's the same thing that streamers do when they're like, hey, no one's supporting me. What's going on?
Yeah.
You're putting the onus to do that on the audience. And so you have to say, here's my pitch, here's my idea. What do you think? What I haven't nailed down yet is how to work in here's my rate. I haven't quite figured out how to do that bit of it. But
Yeah.
you,
What would that rate be like for social media? Like, do you go based on tweets, or something like that, or number of like I'll get 10,000 engagements on this, and then that'll
Right.
be $100, or whatever the
Or
number.
yeah, I don't know that number.
That's
I'm
interesting.
actually trying to find someone to basically work for free under essentially with some of my time that knows what they're doing so I can say like, hey, I'm gonna study that you know this. I want to learn everything I can from you, even if it means me working for free, and I want to get a better handle on how to proceed next. Because I feel like my social media brand and what I'm doing is kind of hit a bit of a plateau where I'm not going to like money's not going to fall in your lap, right? A way to
Yeah.
monetize and
Mhm.
just going to magically show up. And so I need to find a way to learn about that. And learning about how to make money on Twitter is kind of where the online advice stops.
Right.
You're not going
Yeah.
to find too many videos talking about that. You don't find too many people that know what they're doing in that space.
Sure. It's probably
Some of
NDA'd some of it too. Like they're not going to give out their
yeah, yeah, or something they don't want to share, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
all sorts of reasons that
I
cannot
wonder
be a
if
thing.
I wonder if some big influencers would be open to, like, you go on Instagram and hit somebody up like, "Hey, I'm trying to grow a brand too. What do you do to approach someone? Like, would they be open to talking about that stuff? I don't know if you've tried that before. That might be interesting."
No, most people I've talked to about that are very, very open about that sort of thing. Like,
Okay.
Ashley is one of my people I talk to
Yeah.
about that back and forth a little bit. She's always forthcoming with all that stuff. Yeah, no, most people in this industry are very friendly and will gladly talk about it. Now, they usually won't discuss rates.
Yeah.
That's not something that people talk about because it's not necessarily something that's gonna be the same for everyone, and it's the
Sure.
hardest to find information on, and it's what everyone wants to know. But yeah, I guess from either side of the industry, the less people that know that information, probably the better.
Right.
Uh,
It's probably that sort
yeah,
of like like applying for a raise or getting a new job. It's like you throw a rate out, and if they come back and go, it's not worth thinking. We're thinking this. That might be just throw
yeah,
something into the wind and see what comes back on it. Although it'd be bad
yeah.
if you just get ghosted for it because it's like too high or
That's
something.
happened to me and some friends actually.
Oh wow, okay.
They say, "Hey, want to work together?" You put you out a rate, and then you get ghosted usually, or they'll respond in 2 weeks with like, yeah, we weren't wanting to pay anyone for this."
Ah, we wanted that for free. Yeah.
And
Or
that's
they'll pay you an exposure, which,
yeah,
as
of
you
course.
know, you can take that to the grocery store and buy food with it. So
Honestly, I wouldn't even be that mad about getting paid an exposure if I ever actually got exposure from it. Right? Like everybody who wants to pay an exposure doesn't have any meaningful exposure to offer, but
yes,
exposure can be a great thing if there's actually some involved.
that's a
But
good point.
yeah,
So are
like
you? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna have an example for this. I don't remember if it was. I think it was Jake Paul that wanted a video editor, and he was looking for a video editor on Twitter, and it was an unpaid position. I would take that position if I was a video editor because working for Jake Paul is about the most exposure you can possibly get.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Okay.
one example of someone who will offer real exposure for your free work, and it is actually a mutually beneficial relationship in that case.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's that.
you're not gonna see work for exposure very often as a take, but that's something I do believe in sometimes.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And the level of exposure would be pretty important. But yeah, like the normal, we'll pay you, local coffee shop, come in and model for us. We'll pay you an exposure. Like, who are you exposing me to? I don't understand that.
Exactly. Yeah. Whenever they say they'll pay you an exposure and you have more followers than them on Twitter, it's usually not a good sign.
That's not good. Let me ask you another question, and this is sort of a joke on this channel.
Go for
When
it.
you pitch these ideas to companies, are you ever afraid that they take that idea and work with a different influencer?
No, because it hasn't happened yet.
Ah,
Um, if it ever happens, I'll let you know, and then that's something I could probably worry about. But no, not for the most part. I have gotten to where lately I don't tweet about my ideas before I do them,
yeah.
not because I think they're going to get taken, but because I think it reduces the impact of the thing when you release it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I've been
Yeah.
talking about something that I've been planning for TwitchCon for a while. I'll loop you into this. Are you going to TwitchCon? I didn't ask.
No, I
Okay,
have
what?
many reasons why not.
It's fair. Anyway, I've got a funny video plan for that. Travis knows what I'm talking about.
Sweet.
And it's where the idea is good enough to where I don't want to talk about it, but I keep
Right.
talking about the fact that I have a thing on these shows, so I don't know if that's better or worse. But yeah, it just reduces the impact if people know what's coming and people know what the joke is because a lot of what I do is comedy, right? And
Yeah.
comedy is all about exposure. You don't want things to get old, so
I'm sure
yeah,
there's some like being close to an idea and want to, it everyone's friends and colleagues and as you all know, all streamers are happy all the time and everyone works well together. but there's some level of competition where it's like, you could get that idea stolen pretty quickly if you like
Yeah,
post something like
yeah.
that. But
Yeah, I
so
haven't had too many of those. I got a meme stolen the other day, and I was very mad about that, even though it's a meme. But anyway,
you did?
yeah, yeah.
Wait, was it the
Someone,
shirt?
no,
I thought
no.
I
If
thought I
someone
saw
steals
that
a
somewhere
shirt,
else.
no, I mean the shirt would be fine because that's advertising for me. If
Yeah.
they steal that, that's fine. No, it's like some Keanu Reeves meme that I
Oh,
made, and someone copied my tweet almost word for word and got more likes on it. I was very mad about that.
do you know
Um,
who AF Kate is?
yes, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you a while ago. I think you might have posted on it. She did one of these. The meme where it's like the little rabbit is holding a sign or whatever.
The point into words. Yep.
And so she did one. I forget what it was about, but like Streamlabs literally
Mhm.
copied that tweet and just reposted it as their own. And she's like, "Really, Streamlabs? Like,
Yeah,
and they're in the
yeah. I think
stream community. Like, come on."
Elgato did that to one of our friends too.
Ugh.
It's interesting.
So the reason I was asking about stealing an idea, long story short, I had an idea to work
Mhm.
with this company called Micro Center. They're a large store.
Dude, that's where all of my money goes. We
Yeah,
have one right down the street. It
yeah.
was it was a factor in where I chose to live here in Dallas because we're
Yes,
not too far from the Micro Center.
yes. That's why this big boy was built a long time ago. Um,
Yeah.
but the headquarters for Micro Center is in Columbus, Ohio, which is close to where I live. And
Huh.
so I sent them an idea to their Twitter account, and they were like, "Holy shit, that idea is amazing! Talk to our PR people." So I sent an email
Mhm.
to the PR people explaining this idea I had, which is basically let's have streamers into Micro Center and like teach people how to build PCs, and like people can come in and watch. You can do a live show. People can come up
Yeah.
and look at like the broadcaster behind the scenes or whatever. And like, I never heard back. And 2 months later, they start this big campaign about how all these streamers are going to be in the store. I'm like, are you kidding?
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah,
That sucks.
but
Oh, that's the first time I've heard of something big like that being
yeah,
straight take.
they had a bunch of, I mean, like Kip Bogo is on it, and Elohim, and like all these pretty
Mhm.
way larger streamers. And I remember I sent them an email saying like, "Hey, it doesn't have to be me. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, just you could just say, hey,
Right.
that's a good idea. Do you mind if we use it? Yes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, nothing's gonna happen if they just take it.
Right.
The
Exactly.
only people that know are you and your audience, and then I guess by extension me, my audience watching this. But like that, they don't give a shit about that.
Actually,
They don't even pay their employees super well. But go on.
I need to make a T-shirt with that on it. That'll get
Hey,
some. There it is. Somebody write that down.
that's
Just kidding.
no. They their employees are paid like kind of based on commission for sales, so that's why they run around those stickers all the time.
Oh, that's
It's not
okay.
paid well for the Micro Center for the most part. But if you're there, always take the sticker from the person trying to help you. So
Yeah, I actually went in there and they wouldn't let me build a computer in the store anymore. They like stopped doing it the day I was there because like I live an hour away. My motherboard was fried when I got home, so I was like, fuck that. Boxed up all my
yeah,
stuff, took it to the store. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure this one works. I'm not driving back home. But they're like, we
mhm.
won't let you build in the store because of liability issues. So so I bought a
that's
screwdriver set and just built it in my car and then brought it back in to test it. Uh,
That's pretty good. No, but the big brain trick is to not live an hour away from Micro Center. It's to
yeah,
live
that's a
10
good idea.
minutes away from Micro Center,
Yeah,
so that when you're running back and forth, it's not a huge deal.
I love that store so much. I have such a love hate relationship with them. It's like a battered relationship. They hurt me, and I keep coming back to them.
Yeah, taking your ideas is pretty bad. They usually hurt my wallet. This is a store, they're usually fine.
So, your Twitch channel. We
Yeah, that
we know
exists.
each other from like a long time ago in some shared communities. I think we're a part of a couple different communities. But
Yeah,
you stream like I think you said like maybe once in the last 20 days or something like that.
if
Um,
that.
is that
Don't
it's just not something like that's not what you're interested in anymore. That's just something you sort of do for fun, or you just really want to focus on social media, or what are you thinking?
two factors to that. One, I mean to be streaming more than I am. Got kind of busy lately, which who the fuck isn't, right? So
Right.
like if you
Yeah.
really care, you'll make the time for it. So I'm kind of mad at myself for even trying to use that as an excuse. Um, but now I do have a kind of work from home job at the moment, and once that gets a little more settled, I will be able to have an actual stream schedule that's consistent.
Oh,
Because for
gotcha.
the last
Okay.
month, I've been working like freelance and doing working for several different clients doing programming stuff, and so I had a lot on my plate with that. But also, it's this weird thing of I know I'm going to get more eyeballs on what I do if I post it on Twitter. So if I do something for
Efficiency,
Twitter,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, if I spend that time making content for the platform I'm good at, I know a lot more people are going to see it and care. The trick is Twitch is a hell of a lot easier to monetize. So I should be pushing to try to get through Twitch because there's a donation system, there's bits, there's all
Sure,
that
yeah.
stuff. Twitter doesn't have any of that. So unless you're verified, which they don't really verify people anymore unless you, I don't know, are chosen by them for something. I have no fucking clue how people get verified now, but
Someone just said that to me. Did you say it to me? I'm like all over the place. So
maybe. I don't know.
how do you what is verified? It's like making partner on Twitch, right? Like you have to be some big name with like a trillion followers or something. How do you even do that?
The answer is who knows. Originally, it was like for celebrities and stuff, or
Oh,
to
okay.
say, "Hey, you're the real account. You're not an imposter. You're the real thing."
The real Donald
But
Trump. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. But they've also added like monetization options for that. So it
Oh, okay.
also has become over time a thing about being a creator on the platform. So you can have video ads on your Twitter videos if you're verified. You can have
Hmm.
longer video uploads, better codecs for being verified, things like that. But there's no application process. They closed the page for that. So it's pretty much yeah, exactly what a bad man says there. You have to know someone to be able to get verified on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Huh.
It's basically not even Twitter knows what verification means. Yeah, exactly. They're not even sure themselves.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
it's
was always wondering because you see like yeah, the high profile people, but I don't know. Are there any streamers that are verified? Like I assume like the Doc and Trout are, right? Like and people
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Those people are the Docs Ninja Shrouds of the world.
Yeah.
It depends on when you started, I think, right?
Okay.
So the big streamers for one, and then some smaller streamers that started longer ago will get it because they used to hand out verification a lot easier than they do now.
Oh.
Uh, so that was a thing. It's like it's people who are big names or some random fucking writer for the New York Times with 1,000 followers that
I've
randomly has
seen that.
verified.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those types that you go click on their profile. You're like, what the hell do you do to be verified on Twitter? And they just know somebody or got in a long time ago. So
I wonder if that's like
it,
didn't YouTube make a change like that? Like you used to be able to have a YouTube whatever name you wanted, and then they switched it to where you had to have a certain amount of subscribers to have that or something like that.
yeah, yeah, you can't get youtube.com/your channel name unless you have a certain number of subscribers.
Right.
Thankfully, I started on YouTube like 8 to 10 years ago, so I got in before that and was able to change my name to Trouble Truck when that became the name I
Nice.
started.
Yeah,
So
that's I have like one of those too, and I have like 6 subscribers. I don't even know how many, but like
yeah,
yeah, it's but I had made the channel like 6 years ago or something like that. So that's I guess it was before they switched at some point. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, and you should be able to just change your name at least once. You maybe get one every 6 months or something. So
yeah,
yeah, they
which
change that.
I should write that down and do that.
Yeah.
The so from Twitter to Twitch, get like you have a trillion followers on Twitch or Twitter or something. Um, I don't
I
know if
think
that's the number of followers you have on Twitch. I'm assuming it's probably
not.
not the
I think I'm
same.
under 1,000 on Twitch. Yeah, 923.
Oh wow,
Uh,
okay. Uh,
yeah, it's
is it
yeah.
just
I
a
don't.
different audience? Is that what it is? How do you like?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely. There's that. Partially at least. Though most of my Twitter audience are streamers.
right.
Um, but it's that, and it's I don't stream very often, right? So I get that. If I went live more, if I posted links to my channel more often, I'd see
Yeah.
more people coming in.
Hmm.
Um, and then whenever I like do a viral tweet or whenever a tweet takes off, if I've linked my Twitch under that, I found that actually works pretty well. As annoying as that can be to see.
Oh,
Um,
like you post something super funny, then underneath, like, hey, you can also find me on something,
yeah,
like
hey,
as the top
check
reply.
my SoundCloud.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
SoundCloud shout out. That works. So
what's her name? Miss Ash Rocks is a
yeah,
streamer that just happened to her like last week or something. Like something she posted was like 6 trillion views, and she's like, oh, here's my Twitch.
yeah,
It makes
yeah.
sense,
Run in and do that.
right?
Twitter did change it recently to where the replied tweets don't show up as often, so it's not going
Oh,
to work as well. It's I think the new Twitter layout, the design change made the replies show up less by default whenever you're going through tweets to click on them. So that is something to be aware of. But
huh.
yeah,
So what about the? I think I can't remember who started posting about it, but I know Violet had a big thread on it. The idea of not posting links on Twitter, getting downvoted.
yeah,
Was that a theory?
I think it's a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
um, I have no evidence one way or the other for this, But people are like, yeah, whenever I post a link, my engagement goes down, and mostly that's because live links don't get much engagement anyway, right? So
Right.
if
Yeah.
you're posting a live link, no one cares.
Right.
I usually don't like live links. I like occasional ones if you post a good picture with it, but yeah, for the most part, I just see it and move on. So
I think it's the same thing
that's
for Instagram lately.
why you're getting.
Everyone's. Oh, sorry. Go
What's up?
ahead.
No, I was just saying that's my theory on it. I have no data to back that up one way or the other, unfortunately, and neither does anyone else. I've tried Googling everything. There's like, I have a friend that's talked to somebody at Twitch, and Twitch says not to post your link too often. But
Huh.
I don't know.
Is that the? I'm assuming it's somewhat of the same thing as Instagram. I know that a lot of times, like right around 9, kind of when everyone starts streaming, 9 Eastern or so, or 8 Eastern, it's like every single story that gets posted on Instagram is I'm live. It's like every one of them. But the
Skip.
ones I'll actually look at is like, here's a funny video. Also,
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what I mean? Something like that is way more
yeah.
likely to catch your eye, I
Yeah,
guess.
those definitely help. I found the best results with GIFs personally. Don't
Yeah,
go live enough to do this, but I used to make a GIF for each one, and if you can make the tweet itself engaging content, it tends to help out a little bit. So
like the GIF where you hold words or what. I did a kind of a funny video about that, but it's like, hey, look, everyone's happy, something like that. Here's my link.
we're getting feisty about those funny word videos.
um, I'm trying to think. Oh, the amount of time that it takes you per week to to come up with Twitter content, is that like, I mean, you have 130 something draft tweets.
Yeah, I don't keep track of that time, perhaps intentionally in my subconscious, because I kind of just have Twitter open all day and
Right.
spend way too much time looking at it and refreshing it. And if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing and paying attention to myself, it'll be hours of my day just refresh, scroll down, refresh, scroll down. So
Sure.
it's less of an active effort and more of a I write stuff down when I think about it and try to have at least 3 or 4 tweets a day. Um, Number usually ends up a lot higher than that. It just depends on what happens during the day, and that
Yeah.
that is part of the success is like I react to stuff quickly because I'm on Twitter all the time.
Makes
It's
sense.
not a
Yeah.
not a sustainable strategy necessarily, but
People got to
for
eat
the
and
hot
sleep.
take stuff, yeah, exactly. For the hot takes and for the jokes and stuff, it can be pretty good to be one of the first people to react or one of the first people to get a good joke in. So
Yeah.
that time is valuable if you're doing it right.
I saw someone, it might have been from somebody posted something from some marketing agency saying that the optimal amount of tweets per day to grow your brand
Hmm.
was like 15 to 30. And I was like,
Uh,
holy shit.
I I don't know. I have looked up this topic before and never gotten a really good answer. The idea is more to be consistent, right?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
more to not change it up on them. If you start off with doing 6 tweets a day and that's what people know you for, try to keep doing about that many per day. Things like that. So it just depends. Instagram's pretty much the same way, though you really don't want to have more than 2 posts a day on Instagram.
Right.
Um,
Or unless you're
but
like
you can
doing
also
IGTV or something as well, right? Like a
yeah,
post in
yeah, and
IGTV or
that's
something.
a little different. That's part
Yeah.
of what like the stories and stuff are there for.
Yeah.
But um, and with Instagram, you can post once every 4 days or something, and that's fine. That still works, just so long as you keep to the same sort of schedule that you're doing.
Right. What do you think about the Twitter Twitch crossover in terms of TOS violations? So if
Twitter, Twitch
like
crossover.
like let's say you do something or post a video or something that would break the TOS on Twitch, but you post it
Mhm.
on Twitter, is your brand responsible? Like, you think? Because I've heard in the past that people have been punished for this because they would something came out or their old take. You see it all the time with like pro athletes too, like
Yeah.
something they tweeted when they were 15, someone brings up out of nowhere, and
Hey, what do you think? I delete my tweets whenever they whenever they can be taken out of context. Um, so yes, generally, anything you do can reflect poorly on you wherever. I try to approach most of my life with that mentality. Like even if it's a conversation with someone at TwitchCon that you don't think anybody anyway, anything you say or do or talk to anybody that's at all connected to any of this could definitely come back around. I made a little tweet about that earlier with the my opinions don't reflect the views of my employer.
yeah, I saw
The
that.
most
Yeah.
bullshit statement ever. It's nothing. It's like holding up a piece of paper saying no. It's I in my head I didn't get this joke out I equated it to the people that say, "No, I have free speech," and then use the fact that they have like an amendment right to free speech as an excuse to go be racist in the middle of the street.
Right.
It's kind of like that. You can't just hold this up as a sign saying, "No, it protects me from consequences because I said it doesn't reflect the views of my employer." Like, no,
Right.
you're employed by that company.
Someone could
You're
still
like
come
what
punch
you
you in the
say.
face if you're a racist
That's true.
dick.
But yeah, but like what you say and do online is going to reflect on the people that hire you. Like that's
Right.
just that's how the world works. So that also applies to what you post on Twitter and things like that. So I can absolutely see Twitch stepping in, and I could definitely see other people getting mad about that
Right.
and not quite understanding why Twitch is punishing people for something they do on another platform. But I mean, their platform, their rules, right? That's
Yeah,
kind of how it is. And
which is
as
kind
long
of
as I kind
interesting. I actually read today, and it probably because it might have been posted today. So there's a guy, a political figure, or at least a former political figure, Milo Yiannopoulos, or whatever his name is. Um,
I've heard them.
yeah, he was a, I don't know, I don't want to call him a reporter. Whatever he was, a journalist. That might be bad too. For Breitbart a while ago, and he says he's not racist, but he has a certain view set. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
he apparently he got banned from Twitter for inciting hate speech or whatever that TOS portion is. It's something
Yeah.
like that. Although I guess a lot of his fans argue that he never actually did, but his views might have. So whatever. Um,
Yeah.
so he went to another platform that I swear was called like Forager or something like that, which I've never heard of.
Yeah. I've
Um,
never heard of that either.
but someone just did an interview with him saying how, and this is funny because it reminds me of Allen Iverson when he was talking about how, "Oh, I got kids to feed. I make $150 million a year." Like
Yeah.
Milo was talking about how he got to be able to eat. He can't feed himself on a site like Forager because it's
Yeah.
not translating into book sales or event tickets or whatever it is he
Yeah.
does. I think he does speeches now. Um,
I mean, that's part of the mixer problem, right? It's why you don't see any stupidly rich mixer streamers.
right, exactly. Well, Matt Ninja,
Okay, yeah, fair.
the
Yeah, there's
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one.
But it's interesting because it kind of goes to like the idea of cancel culture and how I mean I just make jokes about it all the time and how ridiculous it sounds. It sounds a little bit like middle school, but like in this case, he legit is cut out of everything. Maybe rightfully so, but
Yeah.
being canceled off all these platforms, you can no longer earn a living because of that's your
Well, no,
view set.
he's not canceled off of the Forager website, right? Like,
He's still on Forager. He's still on something else too, like another smaller thing after he got banned from all the big social media platforms.
play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right?
Right? Yeah.
Like, hey, if you don't want to be banned off Twitter, don't incite a race riot or whatever the hell it is he did.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
much that. By the way.
Most of the time that happens, those people are walking on a very thin line anyway and make a career out of it. It's like the Ice Poseidons of the world, or
Right.
things like that. There are other examples, like Ian Chong is another example of someone who I think should probably be banned from the platform. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, it's these people that make their career out of walking on that line. It's if you want to make a similar comparison here, it's why I don't exactly feel bad that Amaranth was banned for what happened this weekend because that is her career. I
Right.
totally support her right to do those things, but it's entirely like she knows the choice, right? The choice was to not wear underwear and wear pants where that could happen because that's where a lot of her like money and viewership
Sure.
comes from.
Yeah. I mean,
Fine, but
I guess I don't know for sure from her Patreon, but that's what it seems like.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
based on And another thing in Amaranth's case is streaming is probably a secondary income for her anyway, so she's probably not exactly feeling too much heat. Actually, we looked this up today. My wife and I, 750 Patreon subscribers, and
Oh.
her lowest is a $1 tier, which is like a thank you tier, and her lowest tier behind that is $20. So even if you
Oh
take
yeah.
half that number and say half of those are $20 subscribers, that's $9,000 a month.
Yeah.
Some $1,000 a year. It's a lot.
Sure.
It's a lot just Patreon, not counting Twitch, not counting everything else. So like the content she does sells, and that's the line she chooses to walk.
So
And so that bites you in the ass. It's that's how the game is.
so how about the there's this idea that banning really means almost nothing to content creators that are that big because I mean, look at Dr. Disrespect. He gets banned for 14 days and comes back and has, record-breaking numbers when he comes back. And the same thing will happen for Amaranth, I'm sure. When she comes back, it'll be huge celebration. So it's almost like, is it a little bit like a 2-week vacation? A little bit.
Yeah, probably a little bit, right? Yeah. There's the thing. Twitch's bans are too short whenever people break violations for whatever reason. there's no like consistent code of conduct there. There's no consistent rules on how to punish people. And
Right.
so yeah, basically, unless you for whatever reason get permabanned,
Sure.
then yeah, it's not. I mean, if you're that big anyway, it doesn't matter. It's the people that sucks are like, hey, I made an emote that has a baby in it, and Twitch didn't like that, and so now I'm banned for 30 days, and I have
Right.
like subs. How many of them will come back after that? That's the trick.
Right. Yeah, I think that happened to. I don't know the circumstances, but there was a streamer that was part of one of the communities that had that happen to him. He got banned for 30 days for something that was out of his control. It just happened in the background, and he's banned for 30
Yeah,
days, and he can't get it reversed. So it's like, but what's funny about that is when the doc was maybe getting banned or not banned for the bathroom incident, there was what's his name? I think his Twitter name is DJ Wheat. You know what I'm talking about? Um,
I know the name.
okay.
Uh,
Well, he posted a tweet, and he works at Twitch.
uh,
He posted a tweet basically saying like he doesn't agree with any of the moderation policies, and this is
I
bullshit.
remember
Yeah,
about it. Yeah,
but it was super interesting that someone inside of Twitch was doing that, and then there was a big thread on Reddit about how the background information is that like Twitch is split a little bit. Like there's one team that does one thing and one team that does another thing, and
yeah,
this team down here is full of like younger guys, and this is all hearsay, by the way. My views don't reflect that of my
yeah.
business. No, but there's like a younger crowd that really likes to hang with streamers, so they go a little lenient on them and all this kind of stuff. They like being buddies and being popular. And then there's the more business, older person type of crew that tries to run it like a business, and they can't really see eye to eye on any of this stuff.
I would believe that.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
Is like speculation. I totally believe that. It's weird too that Twitch tries to get this like, hey, we're just a small ragtag group, right? That
right.
that's the vibe I sense that they tend to put out there is like, oh no, we're still a small company when they're backed by Amazon, like one of the
Right. Yeah.
largest companies, one of the most popular entertainment platforms out there at the moment. Or numbers that makes TV jealous.
Yeah, it's like I think the beginning of this year, the first quarter was like 2.2 million a month, broadcasters or something like that.
Yeah, some number like that. That's pretty insane.
Right.
And so yeah, they don't really get to pull the small company card, but because they did start as a small company, I think there's not much of a corporate culture from the top on things like this, and that's why everybody's split. There's no direction. Like I don't know who the CEO of Twitch is. That's not a name that comes up very often.
No.
It's not someone
Yeah.
I can just say, Jeff uh
Bezos.
Thank you. Jeff Bezos, right? I'd just say him. I don't know.
Amit Shear. I never even heard of that name. Okay.
But I'm glad that someone can name who the CEO of Twitch is.
It's funny. We've had this talk on the show before about, well, what about Amazon? They'll get upset that the doc was filming in the bathroom, and I'm trying to explain like Amazon bought Twitch for $1 billion. Amazon's annual revenue is like 400 billion or 500 billion dollars. $1 billion is literally nothing. They're not thinking about that. So,
For the tech.
right.
They can stream Monday Night Football games or Thursday Night
Exactly.
Football games. Yeah, they don't honestly care about this side of the business. The same thing Microsoft does with Mixer, right?
Right.
That's why they don't really care that Mixer's lagging behind because they have the tech that they use on Xbox and they use that to stream games on Xbox and to do something similar. I don't know if they've actually announced this yet, but I imagine they're going to try to do something similar that Google Stadia is doing with YouTube. How you're playing through
Yeah.
online like a connection through their Azure cloud and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they're streaming technology. And so Amazon doesn't care nearly as much as people think they do, and
Right.
all these news articles are getting written about it anyway, and no one's leaving, so it's not actually hurting them at all.
Exactly.
Uh,
Oh, that was the big thing was when that whole Linity thing happened, and everyone is, oh my God, can you
yeah,
believe it? She did this. Of course, it was horrible. No one wants to see that happen to a cat or whatever. But the whole like, that's it. I'm leaving. I'm going to Mixer. I'm going to D Live. I'm like, okay, see you later. No one left. People left
yeah.
when Ninja left because they thought it'd get more viewers.
I don't know how that's going for them. I
Probably
have
not
not
well.
followed, not, but there's not a viable competitor that
Right.
and Mixer is to differentiating itself, right? It's saying, hey, we're the one that's parent friendly, which is actually, I think it's a good idea for them.
Yeah.
Whether it's actually a good idea, But I think differentiating themselves from Twitch in that way, especially with what's happening lately and kind of leaning into it, as a mom that's like, well, you can't be on this Twitch site, but I'll let you use Mixer and things like that. So
Huh.
Travis
The
brings up that recently some of Mixer's partners they paid to Switch came back to Twitch.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of people from the like smaller communities I'm a part of that did the whole big post. We're going to Mixer. See you guys over there. And then like 2 weeks later, like, hey, we're going live on Twitch tonight.
Variety streamer on Mixer kind of sucks.
Yeah, yeah. But
Again,
yeah, I think that's right on. Is that they we're grossly overestimating the amount that Amazon gives a shit about anything that happens on Twitch.
yeah, they don't care. But as a point I was making earlier that I kind of want to swing back to is Twitch doesn't
Yeah.
have a voice. Whenever something happens for Twitch, there is no single community manager. I guess it does have a voice, right? But I can't name a manager for Twitch or who would be the CEO or public face of Twitch to address these kind of issues. It's just their generic Twitch account that every time they make a tweet, I have to sit there in the back of my mind and say, okay, now how does this suck?
Right. Or the huge announcement that benefited everyone of affiliates being able to change their prefixes, I think, or something like that.
It's objectively cool.
Yeah. The I think that DJ Week guy was that person for some amount of time, and then I think it got restructured in some way because he used to be like a kind of a figurehead. I think he started like the was it the Creator Camp or something like that? There's like some portion that was sort of his like idea or something like that.
Mixer Stein is their community face. He's the guy that does all the announcements for them, and I know who he is. I've met him, that helps.
Yeah.
But like a presence on Twitter that I see pop up all the time and speaks on behalf of Mixer a lot. And so
Okay.
that I can it's a name that I associate with the company and say like, I know I can talk to this, and that's not how you're supposed to treat it necessarily, right? But
Right.
it speaks with authority on issues and stuff like that. And so I think Twitch would benefit from even having one person with the ability to make those kinds of decisions, because it doesn't sound like anybody there can at the moment, which is, I assume, the only reason that their punishment system hasn't been fixed yet.
Yeah, and it's grossly different for who commits the problem. But
Yeah.
there was a guy named Jason Mastis who used to be the partner community manager or something like that. I forget the title, but he's like Twitch's partnership liaison or something. So I guess he was in head of the partnership applications. He was the only one I knew from that company that was actually a named person on Twitter and like had it in his bio, and he never said a single thing about it. So I don't know. Maybe that's a company policy. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. I don't know.
What about D Live or YouTube Gaming? Are they going to take over? I think Mixer's number is going to go skyrocket high.
No.
No.
I don't know. Mixer could figure something out. D Live is a Ponzi scheme. YouTube Gaming could be a thing if they ever actually leaned into it, but YouTube hides their live streams in the front page. I did an experiment on that on Twitter. I'm like, hey, here's how far down you have to scroll to find a stream on YouTube. And I don't think they're very interested in it because right now they're the kings of video on the internet.
Right.
There's like posted video. So why would they try to pivot into the streaming space when they're still the only people with, arguably the only company with the money to actually host the amount of traffic that YouTube gets?
Sure.
YouTube is, for a lot of people, YouTube is their default search engine. They don't even use Google. They just go to YouTube and say, here's what I'm looking for. And
actually, that's super true. If I can't find like how to fix something, I'll just go to YouTube and look it up. Someone will have a video. I think I did that with my washer
on Google, and then what I'm looking for. But but for a lot of people, that is their search engine, and so there's nobody out there with even the capability to replace YouTube, so they don't really have a reason to try to push really hard into streaming. And yeah, D Live's based on Chinese cryptocurrency, and it's all a, hey, you're getting paid to be here, but what happened? There's a certain like gap of, hey, what happens if the cryptocurrency market crashes?
Right.
Your web go down. I've asked people at their company that, and the amount of like tap dancing they do to avoid answering that question is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. There's unregulated currencies are weirdly unstable.
Yeah. And all tied to the price of Bitcoin. So theirs could collapse completely through something that they don't even control. That sounds like a place that I want to be investing in my community and my time and my effort.
So is PewDiePie still there?
That's a very good question. I've not heard anything about
Neither
that.
have I. Yeah, I just realized that he was like the flagship person for D Live, wasn't he? He was like, "This is where I'm going," or whatever.
The only Yeah, I thought that was gonna be a much bigger deal than it ended up being. Well, he's not streaming right now, I can tell you that.
Hmm.
The top on D Live has 3.7 thousand viewers.
Oh God, what's Twitch right now? Is Asmongold streaming? He's probably like 150,000.
2K. I have no idea who this guy is.
Huh.
In a Dixie. And then it goes to 425, then 60. Honestly, these numbers aren't like super different than what Mixer looks like. They're a step below, but they're not compared to Mixer's numbers the way that Mixer's numbers are compared to Twitch's. So
Okay.
maybe
Yeah,
he's doing
I see what
okay.
you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't see PewDiePie anywhere on here. I'm guessing his channel is dlive.tv/PewDiePie. But
Oh, I looked at it like a couple months ago, and he was like on the front page. It might have been because he was streaming or something, but I thought he was like at the banner or something like that.
well, there's 220 people watching a rerun videos.
Dude,
He doesn't have anything in his videos. If I go to replays, he last streamed 29 days ago. So
oh,
no.
okay. Oh, actually, he
He's
did just
streaming.
get married. I think I thought I saw something about that. Somebody's
That is
taking a
a good
break.
point. But here's his last streams: 29 days ago, 30 days ago, 30 days ago, 60 days ago, 60 days ago. Like,
Uh-huh.
it seems like for a month he did a lot of streaming, and then
Is he still on YouTube? Does he still do stuff on YouTube, or did he leave?
I think it's just that he can't stream there. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
most of his stuff's still on YouTube. He's pivoted very hard on the types of content that he does. He's like a meme and internet news reporter now, basically.
I
But
saw that. Everybody starts in Minecraft, you know. Yes.
so did not well did and maybe do now. I guess Minecraft kind of came back in a way that
Yeah, I've been asking everyone this, like, why? Was there a new update or something? I don't understand. What happened?
I don't know, man. Everybody played Fortnite and realized they could build without being shit at shooters in Minecraft. That's all I got.
That
World of Warcraft came back in the same way too. You look
that's
up and
true.
it's 2010 again. There's World of Warcraft, Minecraft, and I don't remember the third one, but there are 3 10-year-old games basically running the top of Twitch.
Oh my God,
Uh,
classic. I can't even think about it. It makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah.
So with Ninja moving to Mixer, obviously it's run by Microsoft. Obviously he came from
Yeah.
Halo. You think that's part of the deal?
Yeah, of course. That he even said as much.
Oh,
He
okay.
said that they run Halo is like part of the reason that this is my roots. This is what I want to do, and maybe that was to cover up because the answer was money, right? And you
Right.
don't want to see money as a streamer,
Sure.
or he doesn't. I would, but his brand, he doesn't really want to break that illusion for his preteen audience.
My immersion.
Yeah, but I do believe that Halo is definitely a part of it too. Like he's gonna get big Halo exclusive streams and
Sure.
big Halo exclusive events, and I would love that in his situation. So
Yeah.
it's that, and it's the stability, right? It's a hey, here's a guaranteed money is the concept in sports that you want, right? You want that in football. That's why Antonio Brown just left the Steelers because they cut all of his guaranteed money. It's not Steelers, the Raiders, because they cut all his guaranteed money.
Yep.
Allegedly is why he left. But
Yeah. What really happened was Belichick whispered into his ear, and then he threw a fit.
Yep. They announced today, I'm going to investigate that. So that's just
Yeah. So, but it kind of makes sense, right? He goes, and the trends. I think over the last year has shown Fortnite going down a little bit. Not like they're collapsing and have no viewers, but it's coming down a little.
yeah. Is it trending down the streaming numbers? I haven't really paid attention to the stream number side of things, but I know that the people who play the game don't like it nearly as much.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends that are really like play every single season in Battle Pass, and they're like, this is the worst one, and now they're looking for other games. So that maybe had something to do with why Ninja was like, oh, well, I can move and then find some way to get out of Fortnite and into some other exclusive games.
Yeah, he was definitely on a slight downtrend when he moved. That's why
Yeah.
I think it was a smart move for him too, because it's still far and away the biggest stream there. He is also still the most marketable streamer, I
Yeah.
think, in the world. So it's still, yeah, PewDiePie's not a streamer, and even then, I think Ninja's a lot more marketable than PewDiePie. So,
Yeah.
like Ninja's getting an Adidas ad and stuff, and him moving to Mixer hasn't changed his marketability that much for what he does. So.
Actually, I just thought of this, and I don't know why I haven't discussed it before. So, Dr. Disrespect is another big name, right? He signed with CAA, like a talent agency, a big time one.
Okay. Yeah.
That was some X number of months ago. Ninja is managed by Jess and her team. I don't know if he has like a management firm.
I think he.
Like I haven't heard any
You know,
announcement like that.
I might be behind on that. The management firms, like talent management, is a gap in my knowledge. I have does not have a firm. All right, he
Okay.
probably doesn't need one, right? I bet
Right.
you at his level, you're
He'd been doing fine without
yeah,
it. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
rappers without a label. Like, I'm making $1 trillion without it. Why would I? You know?
yeah. Now you don't really need it, but that's yeah. So that's a gap in my knowledge. My
Yeah.
my big gap, some things I can speak confidently on, are esports and management firms. So I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
build
interesting
them.
because you see like huge campaigns, and I think Lupo had a campaign recently. I think Logitech was Lupo's big thing recently, and then Ninja has the whole Microsoft thing, and Red Bull and all this stuff. And
Moving along now.
Doctor Disrespect had a bunch of stuff, and then all of his shit happened, and he lost some of it. But then he went with CAA, and like I
Mhm.
can't think of anything big that's been announced for him since then.
I don't know if that's what you want to do with Dr. Disrespect anyway, right? I
Huh?
think that you want to keep him on things that make sense for him. So it wouldn't make sense to put Dr. Disrespect on a can of Red Bull because then people go Google the name Dr. Disrespect and they find, oh, hey, here's the guy that streamed in a bathroom and cheated on his wife. And so, like, that's not the stuff that you want to associate your company with because you know that when you do that, there's going to be bad press. And so,
That's a good
so
point. Yeah.
yeah, so like he'll never be that marketable because that happened and the internet never forgets about those things. So unless you can bump those off of the Google search results for trends and really change public opinion, he's not going to be that person. On the other hand, Dr. Lupo with way less numbers is way more marketable because of all the charity stuff that he
Yeah,
does.
super family friendly, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Family friendly charity is friends with Ninja, so you know that anything he does, Ninja's going to pimp the hell out of
Sure.
too, just by associated in that group. So you get an extra value.
Networking.
There's
Y-
even like another step beyond that of companies that use his wife for things. So that's
yeah.
the step down of getting that attachment. It's interesting.
Her Twitter account I really like actually. She posts a lot of interesting stuff about like I always bring it up, but she posted this one tweet about an old marketing campaign she tried to do between that brand and some agency or something a long time ago, and she asked for
Mhm.
like $500 a month. She's like, "We can market this for $500 a month," and then the company came back saying, "No, no, no, that's way too high." And then like 2 months later, Ninja explodes into this crazy popularity. And she's like,
Uh,
"Can you imagine what would have happened?" Because they were asking for like a 3-year deal at $500 a month. Like that would have been basically
yeah,
free
nothing.
advertising.
But I mean, before Ninja blew up, how would anybody know? So you'd have
Exactly.
to be smart enough to take that risk, and especially if you didn't bring in the data of here's how the returns are going to happen. 'Cause that's what everybody misses whenever they make pitches is the here's what I've shown that's why this works and why I can charge this and why you get your investment. But yeah,
Right.
it's awful.
Huh.
Oh, well, we're trying to fix a bottle spark. Holy shit,
What?
dude! Game. Oh my god. Okay, 40 seconds left. We just got the ball back with 40 seconds left, and we need a touchdown to win the game. 2 plays. Deep bomb to Hopkins, deep bomb to Kenny Stills. We got it back. We just took the lead. Anyway,
Oh,
sorry.
I see that now on I got the, oh my God. I played Deshaun
Yo,
Watson.
Sean Watson, you were the fucking man. Okay. Sorry to interrupt your yes. Yeah, I got the show game on point for Bottle Sparks. What is how people get paid.
the
But a big touchdown just interrupted my show. Sorry.
so sort of on the topic of a little bit of Jess, you are married. I'm married.
Yes.
Um, Content creation takes up time, and
Yes.
that shit sometimes affects relationships. And
Yeah. So at least in my experience and from anecdotally, I found that people care a lot less about the time than they do the other extra point. People care a lot less about the time than they do about the other aspects that come along with it, depending on. So it's like you're getting very close to these other people that you're building these relationships with community members. You're spending a lot of time on your phone, right? This is one thing I found a lot is that you have to be on Discord and on Twitter and on these
yeah,
things all the time. And so your significant other looks over at you and you're just always kind of doing this, talking to other people, and it can sometimes matter. It's sometimes oh my god. Anyway, this game is insane. We missed the after the so now that you're getting a play-by-play here too, but it's this idea of trust, and these other barriers of trust have to be built up. And you're traveling a lot. You're going to PAX. You're going to TwitchCon. You're going to these events where you're drinking a lot with other people, and so there's a level of trust there too, which is fine for some people, probably not a huge deal, but that's part of it. What's up? Oh, we missed the extra point, but they're rough the kicker, so we get another chance to extra point. Yeah, you saw the touchdown, right? Oh, 2 plays, 2 40-yard passes, touchdown. All right, yeah. No, yeah, we just made the extra point.
Soon
All
we'll win.
First has appeared on the stream.
My wife has literally never been on the stream, and I've been streaming for like 6 years.
Actually, like talking about this, she does not like being very public with things. Does not like having her like face out there. She's very private with her life.
Yeah.
So you just got here's Johnny. That's the one view people get of my wife.
And it's funny because I have 2 kids too, so that it even like complicates it more. And
that's gonna be the bigger one, I think.
Yeah. So there's like a long time ago I made this deal where it's like, yeah, I'll stream. This is like my hobby that I love to do, but I will only ever be live when the rest of my house is asleep, which is why I start at 9 and go to whenever, because my wife is asleep and my children are asleep. But the only time I ever stream when they're awake is like they are on stream with me, which often they are.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. But yeah, I definitely think that having kids are going to be the real problem there. At least, my wife works a lot. She's a very hard worker. So usually when I'm out here streaming and out here doing these things, I'm working during the day and I try to take off at night.
Yeah.
And I get that's a bit of a privilege, I suppose, since a lot of people like streaming from 8 to midnight or 8 to 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
Even when I was working a full-time job that had me on a strict 9 to 5 schedule, my streams are at 5 or 6 or something. So
okay.
I'd be in the evening and time to watch our Netflix show of the week and time to spend time together.
Sure.
And otherwise we just play games together a lot. So downstairs we have our computers set up next to each other. I can kind of see you got one behind you over there next to the end.
There's a lot. No, my children have one. I built one for my wife. My wife is like the opposite of a computer person. She has an iPad, which she does literally everything on. But she's not like sit down on the computer and play a game. She has played maybe 2 video games her whole life. So it's different in terms of like hobbies, I guess. But
yeah, for sure. And I think people way overrate the idea of having a gamer girlfriend. Or
yeah.
Have your own hobby. But my wife does play video games. She didn't play a ton of them throughout her life, like before we got married, but after a while she does play them more now. And she has OCD, so all of our stuff has to match. So we both
nice.
have i7 8700s and 1080 Ti's.
Nice.
And 220 hertz monitors. So,
do you have like one side of the room is red lights and the other side is blue lights, like those setups you see on battle stations or something like that?
Basically, but ours match, and it even has 2 L shapes, so the 2 L shapes come in like that and like make the same shape. Yeah, it's like we just have those super gaming computers, and she didn't even turn on like G-Sync or high frame rate mode for the longest time. She just needed the monitor on, and she has this nice G-Sync high frame rate monitor that she leaves games in windowed mode so she can multitask.
Gotcha.
Hey,
it works, right? It's funny, and it's not funny actually, the opposite of funny, so that was the wrong choice of words. But this whole summer, and I've talked about it a little bit in the bar and other communities, is like I feel like every single person I know that was in a relationship at the start of this year, their relationship is over. I don't know what is going on Twitch. There's something in the water or something.
Hi, Al. Welcome to the chat.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. I didn't specifically mean her.
No, I know, but I got it out right before she responded.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but it's like every single person. Every person.
And this isn't a unique thing to now. Relationships seem to end in waves, especially through the streaming industry. It feels like, anyway, they end in waves. So, yeah, no, definitely. I know a number of people who have had their relationships end in the past year, and I don't know why that is. I have no idea. But it is a trend that I've noticed as well.
It's obviously not like related circumstances. All relationships are their own, and I'm sure there's reasons to end relationships. They could be shitty, you know what I mean? But it's just been like really weird timing that, they just got a field goal. The Saints just kicked a field goal.
Oh, shit, no spoilers, man. Come on.
Oh, this is on time? I'm usually like 5 minutes behind.
Yeah, I'm like way behind on my stream. All right. I'm going to refresh that.
I'm sorry. I apologize to you.
I refreshed my stream and pulled up a different game. So that's
okay.
Go on.
But yeah, anyways, so that's been a weird thing. And it's funny because we have some friends that just started a relationship. So it's like relationships ending, relationships starting, all in this span of 6 months, which I guess is like a measure of life, right? Like everyone gets in that shit all the time, but
Yeah,
you
especially
just tend to know
adult
more people, on
time.
the platform is bigger.
Yeah, it's a lot of streamers specifically are at that age where they're like coming into their own as adults too. I am somewhat old for an average streamer. And like
I'm
slightly
like basically dead. Like that's how old I am compared to the average streamer.
like 12 years, maybe plus a couple other days. So no, people like figuring out who they are at the same time as they find their hobby that they like and their potential career path. And
Yeah, I
oh
wonder if
damn,
it's. I always thought maybe it was something like, when you're like when you're younger and like there's bands and stuff, you think, oh, dating, a band dude, or like you were saying, a gamer girl or something like that. That'd be the coolest thing ever. And then you get in those relationships, you're like, that's actually not that cool. Like people
yeah,
can still
yeah,
be jerks that are in bands. Like,
just you learn a little bit about yourself. So when they got a field goal, they won the game. I didn't do math right. All right. Anyway, um,
I'm sorry I spoiled that for you.
that's okay. That's more that a 58-yard kick. I'm not even. I am mad, but I can't even be that mad at that. That's just a good ass kick.
Holy
All right.
shit, yeah. Uh,
Um,
but yeah, anyways, that so that measure of like relationships taking tolls on from streaming has always been kind of interesting. I think partly because I've been streaming for so long that it's like I feel like children have been born since I started streaming. Like, they're now going to college or something. Um,
all right.
but yeah, huh. Anyway, that's just something that we've been talking about recently. Oh, you know what? I just found it. I was talking. I'm sorry, this is a completely different topic. That Milo guy that I was saying
Yeah,
he's on like a different platform. It's called Telegram.
I've heard of Telegram.
Okay, he was talking about Telegram. He's been stuck at 470 subscribers.
I have no idea what Telegram is. I just have heard the name.
Yeah, so this is a guy that used to like gave speeches to like hundreds of thousands of people and like all this stuff. Like back when Trump was getting big and all that stuff, and then they kicked him out of
Ah,
Breitbart and banned him from every platform, and now he makes nothing. Which is probably, like I said, might be good, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. Play stupid games thing. Yeah.
yeah. Um, like maybe one more thing for you.
What?
TwitchCon,
What about it?
you're going.
I,
You
yeah,
have
I
your
am going.
little, you have your plan, your secret. The
Yes.
one of the reasons why I'm not going is because um, my feeling from last year was, hey, it's a lot of fun to meet up with your friends. Number one, of course, but like I felt like being there the entire time. All it was Twitch marketing products to you. It wasn't
Oh,
really a like, hey, we're gonna give you some marketing opportunities, or here's a like the conferences that I usually go to for my work are
uh,
like engineering conferences or aerospace conferences, and there's a vendor room, and in the vendor rooms you can like sign up for appointments and meetings and things, and you could take private business meetings on the show floor. But like that's not
yeah.
TwitchCon.
In the games industry for streamers specifically, show floors of cons are useless.
Yeah,
Less than useless. I spend almost no time playing games on the show floor of cons. Yeah, exactly as Al is saying. The
yeah,
best parts happen on the floor, right? They happen at the after parties. They happen at hotel bars, even during the day. They happen at where you can meet up with people. It's just the idea of here's all these people congregating in one space, and you don't get that opportunity very often. And so
right.
it exists because it exists, and it's this weird like feeds on itself. But you're absolutely right as far as the actual meat of the conference itself. The thing you spend money for the ticket for is never
It's not
never all that.
super worth it. I mean, in terms, if you're thinking about like a return on investment, it's probably not worth it. But if you're going to see
Oh yeah,
friends and stuff, then that kind of makes sense. Do you think
yeah,
that you're in Texas area? PAX
yeah,
South is in Texas area. Are you a PAX
yes.
South person?
Yeah, yeah. I go to PAX South every year. I have family there for one, so I have a place to stay. Though I guess usually I don't stay with my family. Usually I get a hotel that's a lot closer.
Yeah.
But it's close. It's 3 hour drive, so it's really
Oh,
easy for me to.
yeah, easy.
And if second, I'm in Dallas, but it's in San Antonio. I've decided to go like that Friday before to PAX South, and it's easy enough to make arrangements for. So
Right.
it's a very low. I go to most of the stuff in Texas that I can. That doesn't fall on July 4th weekend like RTX for some reason.
Why would you do something on July 4th? Okay. The do you think that speaking of return on investment for like brand building, that PAX South or a smaller convention like that makes sense in that regard? Or is there not enough big names there because of the, attendance?
They're gonna be less, but yes, I actually think they're super important. Both from a motivation standpoint, like a lot of times people go to those
Hmm.
and are motivated and fired up to go make new content. That's like a small feature. I have personally made like a lot of anyways my contacts through those events. A lot of how I started off is just knowing people, right? And once you meet someone face to face, there's something there that can't quite be replaced through Twitter interactions. So I do think it's important if you have the means to afford it to get out to those. Your money is definitely better spent elsewhere as far as a value to return, but they are still very important to do if you can. Now, what you don't have to do is travel across the world and spend $1,000 to go to TwitchCon in
Right.
California, expensive part of the country. Just go find something that's like a PAX South up in your area, or for you, I don't know how far you'd be from PAX East, but that's probably not that crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's.
Uh,
I mean, I grew up in New York, so it's not that far from there. But I live in Ohio now, in which there is nothing.
yeah, yeah, you're kind of out of luck on
we
those.
we do have like a local, like a state Twitch, like a small Twitch thing, like a Twitch Columbus. It's happening in like a couple weeks. So I'm going to try that out. But I actually found a lot of success at Replay FX, which is a pinball convention. This is where I met Kyle, and so but that last year had like an indie dev booth and everything, so I met all these guys and some publishers in the area, of which there was no one looking at them, so that was a way better, like I could spend 30 minutes in there talking with these devs and things like that. um and that was a random, a
Local,
pinball place.
and go meet up with them for anything. Yeah,
Right. And that one was actually closer because it was in Pittsburgh. But yeah, if you live in the middle of the country, you are fucking screwed when it comes to these big conferences. The
examples. I think Lance on the middle of nowhere also, to
what
where he doesn't go to TwitchCon or anything.
oh, okay. that
Guy that makes videos.
I know they have like some of the state meetups are pretty big. Like Twitch Chicago is pretty big, and I think the St. Louis one is big, and then that might be the end of the big ones.
X's organization basically that plans all those, and they've been a lot of fun. I like that community. I like meeting up with those people whenever I can. It's a slightly different thing than going to a PAX. The value is how good are you at hustling to get into those parties, right?
Sure.
It's like
Yeah.
are from getting into those parties, and so if you're like not a social bug, or if the roll of the dice is wrong, sometimes you'll end up not getting into anything good, and so you're camping out at a hotel bar at 1:30, 2 a.m. when the other bar is closed that everybody comes back to, and
Sure.
that's when you meet people. Those are all my best memories. Are all from the 1 a.m. hotel bars, by the way.
Yeah,
Really,
I think I saw a tweet about that you put out a couple months
yeah,
ago. You were talking about that. That makes sense.
a real pro strat. I can't talk about that too much, otherwise everybody's gonna know, and then it's gonna suck.
You're gonna get the TwitchCon this year. It's just 100,000 people in the lobby bar. Like, what the hell?
Pretty much. Yeah, no, let them into a secret, or they'll cry. It's already hard enough to find a drink.
You know what's funny is Twitch. I think in some way, and we've talked about it a little bit, is some way like a what do they call it? Like a moth. Like it attracts in some way. I think more introverted people, right? Because it's easier to get online and then to go outside and all that stuff.
Really agree.
Which is funny that now if you go to TwitchCon and you're sort of put into a position where, hey, you can't be introverted to meet these people, that it's almost like the person that is more extroverted and can talk about themselves, easier and meet people, like those people would super excel in those situations.
Yes. And if
But
you were the type to take advantage of that, get your ass to those conferences so that you can do that sort of thing.
right, which is it's ironic because that's how I have the job I have in the industry that I'm in, because
Real
engineers,
world.
yeah, engineers are notoriously terrible at speaking to people. And if you can
Yes.
do technical work and speak to people, then you can have other opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. And as Travis points out, watching people at TwitchCon parties and those things, seeing introverts try hard to not be awkward, there's totally a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the close comparison I can make is those. Not that I've ever used Tinder, but I browse the subreddit a lot, and it's talking to people that have no interest in talking to you. It's kind of like trying to have one of those one-sided conversations with somebody a whole bunch about how like trying to force conversation, or trying to be
Yeah.
personable and things like that. So
Hey, so what kind of games do you play? That's kind of great.
yeah. Oh, so what do you stream?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. I'm a variety streamer. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I stream all
it can
kinds of
get
games. Sometimes I wear a hat when I do it.
yeah. Working. Yeah, so there's that can be an issue. It's less common than you might think to run into those types, but
Yeah.
they're still decently prevalent.
Huh.
for sure.
Yeah, it was funny because I was actually talking a little bit about TwitchCon a couple of weeks ago about how one of the suggestions I made was to have like a second room, but a place where um, businesses or or whatever or sponsor potential sponsors or something could have like a quiet space you could sign up for appointments and
Oh,
things, like a
yeah.
side room, like a real room, not the show
Does that
floor.
exist?
They exist in the partner lounge.
Well, is that all they have at TwitchCon? Even
Yeah,
like RTX has private meeting rooms.
they do not have that at TwitchCon.
Fucking weird. Every conference I've been to, like I haven't been to a TwitchCon. Every other one I've been to has private meeting rooms. So that is a very strange oversight.
Yep. Yeah, it's super weird, and because that's the scenario that happens at like a regular. I'm saying regular. That's not the right term. Like an
Yeah,
other industry, like an
real world.
engineering industry, vendor rooms. They have that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's one of the big feedbacks I gave him was like, how does this not exist? And some of the partner friends of mine were like, yeah, it does, but it's just in the partner lounge. So there's like other contacts you can make in there and quiet places to sit. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? But I
Yeah,
guess if they
also
opened it for
compared.
everyone, it'd be 40,000 people trying to book appointments. So maybe that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I kind of understand that. A lot of people are like, "Hey, why is this stuff only for partners?" Well, they kind of earned it. You know,
Right.
you gotta look out for who's making you money. You gotta look out for your best people. It's not always going to be partners. In fact, as time goes on, it's more and more often not necessarily the people that are partners. But at
Right.
the same time, so many hours in a day, you have to have some kind of narrow down process because there are 360,000 affiliates or whatever that number is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, 6% or whatever. I remember you posted a tweet and I went and found some stats on it. Yeah, it's huge. It's
yeah,
almost like 500,000 or something like that at this
yeah.
point. It's crazy.
An affiliate is open up 3 browsers and stream for a week, and you get
Yeah, yeah,
affiliate.
yeah. You could get one big raid and be done like in one day. Um, but yeah, and that's it's been a conversation here too, just about like, well, how come they don't ban Alinity? How come they don't ban the doc? How come they? It's like it's a business. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry that you don't understand that. Feelings are important. Feelings don't matter when it comes to revenue and shareholder thoughts.
yeah. Public perception matters. So
Sure.
at some point, they should probably think about revamping that system. But yeah, exactly. And so that's why I don't. Yeah, complicated issue, right? Should they be doing things better? Absolutely. For some of them, I do understand. For some of them, I don't really. Like
Yeah.
personally, I don't think Doctor Disrespect should be banned for super long for what he did. Was
Yeah.
it stupid? Absolutely. Was it illegal? Sure. Yes, very illegal. But it wasn't like a malicious thing. And, I guess what does intent matter if you're breaking the law, right? But at the same time, I don't think streaming in a bathroom on accident, because when you're live, who knows what the fuck you're doing and saying. I totally get that you just get into this zone where you don't think about everything through and you're just like, how can I keep entertaining people for the next 15
Sure.
seconds?
Yeah.
What's going on in the world around you? So I totally don't think he should have been banned for that. And
Yeah.
everybody's got an axe to grind now. So
Right.
yeah,
And yeah, I don't know. It's a complicated process, and I think we talked about it a little bit before on Twitter and some different threads. But like, how do you? There's like a problem with viewership, and don't worry about numbers or whatever. But then Twitch literally says like, here's the only thing I give a fuck about. Like, it's like, how can you tell someone not to care about numbers when that's literally the threshold for everything? And I say
yeah,
numbers like in a in a hand wavy sense, but you could go search on Twitch right now for any category you want. It's sorted by viewership. Partnership is
I don't.
viewership.
I don't get how you don't take numbers seriously, as Travis just said in the chat. Like,
Right.
numbers are what the site is. Nobody likes streaming to no one.
Sure.
As much as you lie and talk about it and say, "Hey, I don't really care about the money. I don't really care about the viewers," but that would be nice, right? Well, yeah, of course. We all want attention, right? That's why we're broadcasting ourselves in public to this platform.
Right.
That's what we're. That's why we do what we do. So
So here's another thing. When you have a platform that is pretty specific on what they're focused on, we'll just say in general numbers, then you inherently have systems that will break that thing, will provide those numbers. So we have like Lurk Force and
yeah,
Streamer Royale or Royale streamers.
Real streamers,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. As
And
you're saying, it's
yeah.
not a new concept. It's
Right.
totally a thing on Instagram and stuff. They call it engagement rings or what they call it there.
Oh,
But
I didn't even know that existed. Okay.
yeah, it's, hey, you're gonna go like my stuff. I'm gonna go like your stuff. We're all gonna engagement pods are what they called it.
Right.
And then constant battle between people on like Black Hat World forums and then engagement pods and saying like, hey, how are we gonna fight the algorithm changes and take advantage of this? And so you're absolutely right. It's by no means a problem inherent to Twitch.
Right. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's funny because you'll see, and I think I posted stuff like this before. It's like, hey, that's it's not real engagement. You're just getting inflated numbers, and there's no one chatting and all this stuff. That sort of makes sense. And Twitch has tried to put things in place where it's like, oh, we also look at chat interaction and number of clicks or whatever they do, or number of unique views and unique visits and unique chatters or whatever it is. But like, even with those set changes, there's been many partners that have gotten partnered just from those systems. So it's obviously not foolproof, but does Twitch need to change something because of how that's being manipulated or what?
Sure. The answer is it's a lot harder of a problem to fix than
Yeah.
it sounds. It's like, hey, you need chats, and then now so they like the speaking Royale streamers is fascinating. The way they do all the checks on your channel to see who is checking on your channel, how often are they chatting. They have some kind of audit system to where is this a genuine comment or are you just typing? So they try to encourage quote unquote genuine comments. And just as a back end system, the amount of stuff the Royale streamers does is awesome tech.
Yeah.
And it's great what they do.
It's smart. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so should they be doing more about it? Yes.
Can
It's
they do
not-
more about it? Yeah.
And they probably have the resources to fix it if they really wanted to, but they also should fix their punishment system and aren't. But so I don't know. It's definitely a thing they should do more about.
So
I don't know what you do about it. I don't have an answer for that. But if you're a random person and you're a good streamer, you have no reason to not view bot because they've shown time and time again that they don't actually really ban people for it. And so like if you actually do well and you actually take off and get interactions and are an entertaining person, if you're smart about it and don't just go from 3 viewers one day to 200 the next,
right.
it bumps you up a couple spots. And so there's a weird no reason not to other than no, you shouldn't do that.
That's morale or your morals or whatever. Yeah. That's not the right thing to do. That's
Yeah, that's it. That's all that's stopping you. Like I don't view bot. I also don't stream much, but I don't. And of course I would say that I don't, right? So I guess you couldn't really believe me there. But no, there's no disadvantage to doing it unless you're an idiot and get caught. If you're actually good enough to hold the attention anyway, it can be like hey, athletes use steroids all the time. It's just the ones that get caught that get in trouble.
I was just talking about Lance Armstrong today. Just literally at lunchtime, we were talking about Lance.
There you go.
A heartbreaker. That
got
guy
caught.
was. Yeah. Everyone else did it too. That don't fucking matter. It was Lance.
Roger Clemens caught till the end. He went and did it all and got caught. So he also got a lawsuit for it. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right. So one of the things I thought about in the past was, what if you remove viewership from all channels on Twitch? What if that number doesn't count anymore? Like a concurrent viewers doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't show up. It's not a piece of metadata for Twitch. Is there a problem with, okay, well now how do we sell you? How can we market you? Because Twitch needs to make money off you, right? How can we put ads on your channel if we have no way to quantify?
If you say if Twitch doesn't, yeah, exactly. Then Twitch doesn't exist. If you take away viewership data, there's nothing you can do about that. Even like Instagram's hiding likes is fucking people over in the influencer space.
Right.
And I think Instagram is going to be like, they tested that out in certain markets. I don't know if they've already reversed it, but I bet you it gets reversed pretty quickly because of how much how important those metrics are to the kind of people that are selling stuff and the kind of things that actually keep the wheels turning on that platform.
Sure. And
now,
go ahead. You first.
I was gonna say Twitch might get away with it because they just want the tech. As we talked about earlier, Amazon just wants the tech to be able to do this. And so maybe they could get away with that, but Twitch would not be the behemoth that it is today without saying, hey, Ninja hopped on and broke the record with 15 million concurrent views streaming with Drake.
Right.
That doesn't make headlines if you don't have that number.
So here's a question then, because we talked earlier about like click-throughs being the actual thing that matters for engagement, right? So when you look at these numbers, like here's the amount of people that clicked on this link, and then it went to a product site, and then the product site could market how many people bought stuff. Is that a replacement for just straight viewer numbers?
Product people to buy in the first place. you need some kind of numbers to be able to pitch to people to say it's worth your time to be able to sell stuff on here. So like if you're just slapping it on it as a replacement, maybe I could see it going down because new people aren't able to prove that they have that click through rate without any kind of metrics tracking that to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, and
It's like, how
that's
do you get there?
yeah, that's something that we have been talking about in this show before. About and my theory was that if you remove these viewership counts, then the partnership application review would be more of a in my dreamland, okay, unicorn land. The partnership review application would be more quality based. So they would be like, okay, well, we're looking for maybe they have 10,000 people that are great for marketing, esports, sports drinks. They play competitive shooters or something like that. And here's a streamer that has like a different aspect to it and maybe lower viewership or something. Like I'm
Also
not
count
sure.
like the number of chat interactions in there, or
I guess that's still a number, so I'm still stuck at this metadata piece.
the hard reality of the situation is that the people that are better at marketing themselves are going to win.
Right.
There are problems out there than the people that succeed, but they're not as good at getting their name out there, not as good at marketing themselves. And part of that would be based on numbers to see. At some point, it still comes down to in front of the people that matter. Or I don't think here, sorry, but I don't think there's actually that much of a difference between like great partners as far as a quality standpoint of what they put out. Like if you actually look at what's person A doing versus what's person B doing, there's not a huge entertainment trade-off. And
Yeah.
so one's just better at marketing themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I love that conversation about how could Twitch evolve to move away from that because and you're right that Royale streamers and programs like that, you could say, well, they break the system, but they don't really. They're just a real like a system in reality that is created in every industry. Like if there's a quick way to do something, we're going to do the quick way to do something. Um, so yeah, but I like the concept, that conversation of how could you evolve a platform like this to basically, and by doing that, you remove a lot of problems, I think, but you also, like I think Travis was saying, you sort of remove a lot of the value of it as well. So how do you? It's
Experiment. It's something that
yeah.
they should be thinking about at that company and going over the pros and cons of, and it's something that they should someone somewhere should definitely be thinking about that. But
Although, and I thought it was interesting the new Twitch points loyalty or what are they called? Are they just called Twitch points? Whatever they are,
I,
channel points. That new
yeah,
system they're rolling out. Like I thought that when I first saw that, I'm like, watch, this is going to be their way to combat like those systems like Royale streamers because they're going to remove lurkers from counting from viewers. I bet. And then these point systems are a way to like accrue things, and I think you can accrue faster if you're a sub. But if you're chatting, you might be able to accrue faster. I'm not totally sure how the system works, but that could be their first step to moving in that direction, which would be interesting. But
that I wouldn't be surprised if how you trust the competency of Twitch staff. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a streamer value based on chat.
yeah,
Complicated that system gets, right? But as you said, lurkers are maybe watching, maybe not. People that are chatting are at least guaranteed to be looking at the screen, so they're going to be looking whenever you see an ad. And so you can,
right,
if I was making this system, I would say, hey, they count for a little bit more.
right, yeah, sort of
Then you
like
make 5 chat.
Streamlabs chatbot does that, right? So if they're like actively engaged, you can give one more point or something like that. I think there's something in the background that does that.
Bump
Uh,
the value of the person up a little bit on the back end, pretty much.
yeah, that would be. I mean, that would be super interesting, but it would also probably murder. I mean, does it really matter? I don't know. It's such a weird
It
topic
only
that.
matters if you see the ad, right? That's why
Yeah,
you can't mute the channel. I don't actually know what the thing is on that. If you can mute the browser and be counted as a view or not counted as a
yeah.
view.
I think they changed it at some point. I don't remember what it is
Yeah,
now.
depends on who you're talking to. But I totally get the concept of if you have something running in another tab or in the background and you're lurking, your view shouldn't count.
Right, you're
I
not
think
actively paying attention.
yeah, I think lurk views are dumb and that they shouldn't be counted anyway, to be completely honest. Lurk views that people aren't watching.
Right.
There's like I'm watching and doing something else, that's fine. But then how do you know? You get into like Black Mirror territory where your webcam is watching your eyes to see if you're paying attention.
Yes. I want to go those social media points. That's what it's going to be from now on. You can't buy a house unless your Twitch points are high enough. You can't buy it in
Yeah,
this way. You better be nice to
exactly.
coffee people.
Of course, nice to everybody. No, yeah, Al, it's a hypothetical conversation, right? There's
Yeah.
no easy way to determine whether
That-
that's happening, or even if you're running in another browser, maybe you're listening to it and still getting a lot of value from it. So yeah,
yeah.
who knows?
I wonder if there's, and I've spoke to Ashton Christ, and I have had chats about this a little bit in the past. Like, what if there was a board of directors that sat over Twitch that could, because you could think about like Twitch is here, and then there's Amazon above, but somebody in between that wasn't exactly shareholders, but could kind of curate the quality of the space on Twitch or something, and make different decisions or help with TOS violations or something, and that could be comprised of some streamers and some marketing people, or something like that, or some, you know, but I wonder
They
if
try
that.
to do with their streamers.
What's
Like
that?
they brought in notable streamers from the community to go work for Twitch, and then they fired all of them like a year or so back.
Oh shit, I don't remember that. If that was a thing, holy shit.
I think that was a thing that happened.
Huh?
And like Freddie Wong was part of that group. They weren't necessarily directly employed, but they like did stuff for. I mean,
Like consultancy or something like that, maybe.
yeah, kind of like that. And so they did have a say on it, and they got rid of that program some time ago back. So
Hmm. Yeah, I always
they've
thought
tried
that
it.
that might be interesting, but yeah, if they tried like, anyways, um, this has gone on long enough. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm really hungry, but it's been interesting.
Yeah, no, I
Yep.
love the chats, and thank you so much for coming to chat. And I'm sorry your Texas lost, and that maybe I spoiled it for you.
I don't care about the spoiler part. We lost. That's what I'm mad about, but that's
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna go read the post game thread on Reddit, eat, and then
Look at all the cool gifs of stuff that you might have missed.
yeah, go watch all the plays. And now I'm not mad that I didn't watch a lot of it because we lost. So I mean,
Although Deshaun Watson looks sick, so hopefully that's his numbers looked real good. So hopefully that.
yeah. Hopefully the rest of the team can figure it out.
Um, thank you so much
Okay.
for being the first guest this season.
No, sure. Thanks for having me on, man. It was a lot of fun.
My some of my favorite tweets ever are conversations on Twitch, actually, or on Twitter.
Hey,
Most of the people in the chat know that this is your stuff, but you can go there, go to his Twitter. It's one of the better Twitter accounts you'll follow.
it's playing Test Drive. The game Test Drive
Yeah.
probably gets a lot more because you type the word in test. It's pretty good. Oh, thank you guys for no, thanks for having me on, man. It was a lot of fun dinner. Sorry that my attention was slightly split between the football game going on.
That's
but
how. If the Bills were playing today, we would not be chatting today. So I understand how that is.
yeah. If you're interviewing Monday Night Football, that's what happens sometimes.
That was funny. Your message earlier. You're like, "Oh shit, I forgot the football game was on tonight."
I thought the Texans played on Sunday. And Broncos Raiders tonight, but
Yeah, that's right. There is a late game tonight. Oh shit. Okay. Anyways,
I could have a show, but nobody would pay attention because nobody cares about sports on my Twitter feed.
that's all we talk about is sports on my show.
Yeah.
Thanks again. I will talk to you soon. I'm gonna go on a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Sounds good.
I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Take care. Yep.